All right, Minnesota high school hockey fans, day 3 of the state tournament was the best. You can't beat day 3 of the Minnesota high school hockey state tournament. You can't. So you have all the semifinals, and as good as the finals are, I still think the semifinals are the best because you have four semifinals, I don't know. It's just, man, yesterday for me was the ultimate day. I mean, it was a dream come true, and it started right off the bat. You had Minnetonka versus Orono, Class 1A, and it looked like Orono was going to run away with it, Came out, guns blazing, went up 4-0, and then Minnetonka found a way to rally back and tack on a few goals, cutting the lead in half. And then you could literally just see the wind just deflate from Orono's sails. You could just see those kids quit. I saw quit in those Orono kids. I mean, that's what I saw. I saw a team with no heart. And Minnetonka, man, hats off to them. They kept rallying, and they tied it 4-4, ultimately sending it into overtime. And then Orono, I think they woke up again in that overtime period, and hats off to them. They did what they had to do, but I wasn't impressed with Orono's courage. I think they have a lack of courage in that locker room. I think when they went up 4-0, they were very confident. They were working hard, but as soon as they saw Minnetonka get back into the game, cut the lead in half, you could just see it. You could just see it in their body language that they wanted no part of Minnetonka once Minnetonka started rolling. Because, man, once it got to 4-0, Minnetonka just turned on the afterburners and just steamrolled them and tied it, And it's too bad Minnetonka lost because, in my opinion, they deserved to win. Battling through the adversity they did, being down 4 goals, coming back to tie it, they deserved to win that game, Versus a team who went up 4-0, blew a 4-goal lead, and then ended up winning in overtime. Minnetonka deserved to win that game, and it's a shame they didn't. But with that said, I tip my hat to Orono for doing what they had to do, getting the job done, and ultimately advancing, But that game was a roller coaster of emotions, from being completely depressed. Minnetonka was down 4-0, and then to see them battle back and tie it at 4, from the lowest of lows to the highest of highs, and then to the lowest of lows again. You know what I mean? Yes, I wanted Minnetonka to win. Yes, I thought they would win, but I'm just glad I got to see a great game. Then the second game of the day, Alexandria. Man, I told you guys that they're probably peaking at the right time. If you look at some of my previous videos over the past few days, I told you guys that based on their record and their game schedule and how their seasons played out, it was evident to me that they're peaking at the right time. And that's a dangerous thing because it means momentum's on their side, confidence is on their side. And they came in and if you just look at the score alone, it looks like they beat the tar out of Hermantown, but that's not really how the game played out. Hermantown went up 1-0, I believe, but then from there it was all Alexandria. And it wasn't just like it wasn't luck, It wasn't like, Hermantown looked flat or Hermantown just didn't show up. It didn't look like that to me. It looked like Alexandria showed up, and they showed up in a big way, Man, and they just came out and they played such a structured game offensively and defensively that they made life miserable for Hermantown. And they were able to bury their chances, And Alexandria's goalie, man, he stood tall. He came up big. He did what he had to do, in net. And the rest of the guys in front of him did their part too. And it was one of the biggest upsets, I think, in Minnesota high school hockey history. At least over the past several years, So it was, man, I was shocked, but I was also elated for them because everybody rolled them off. Nobody thought they stood a chance against Hermantown. Hermantown was the favorite to win it all. So this upset was a big deal. But, hats off to Alexandria. Based on how good they looked yesterday, man, I think they have every chance in the world to win the championship over Orono. I absolutely do. And then, what was it? The evening games. Oh my gosh, you guys. Duluth East and Edina, that matchup for me that matchup is absolutely priceless for me. I can't even put into words how much that game meant to me. The fact that I could sit at home and watch that game and enjoy it from the comfort of my own couch, seeing the best of the best battle each other. I mean, it really was, it was surreal. You know, you really had two of the best teams in the state going at it, going toe-to-toe for 3 periods for our entertainment and their ultimate glory. You know, it was beautiful. And the way the game went down, it really was anybody's game. You know, Edina went up 1-0. Then Duluth East rallied, got 2 goals. Then Edina tied it at 2. Then Duluth East got a 3rd goal. And then ultimately, Duluth East tallied a 4th on when Edina had to pull an empty netter. But, yeah, I mean, that game could have easily gone either way. But what we saw in that game was a case of Matamidai's speed being nullified by Duluth East just suffocating defense. You know, they just have a way of smothering you and suffocating you, not giving you any room. No air to breathe, no air. They take all your space and time away, and they make life miserable for you. Just getting past the blue line is a battle in itself, you know, and they were able to really take out Edina's top weapons in Sammy Walker, Jet Jungles, and, you know, those other guys. You know, their main guns. They were able to take them out of the equation, and it worked perfect for them. It worked absolutely perfect. But you could see, it was evident right away just how fast Edina is. You could see it. You could see it like that. I mean, if the window was open a little bit, they were going to sneak in and make you pay for it like a thief in the night, you know. And you could see there were 1 or 2 breakaways early on where you were just like, holy shit, man. Like, they really do need this much of a gap to create a mile of distance, you know. You give them an inch, they're going to take a mile. And nobody's better at it than Edina. And their speed is, like I said in a previous video, it's what makes them special, their speed, you know. But Duluth East did what they had to do, and they had to go out there and they had to play gritty. They had to play physical. They had to make life miserable for Edina, and they did. And ultimately, it worked out in the end for them. Then the second game, what was it, Centennial and Minnetonka. Man, things did not look good for Minnetonka at first. Going down 2-0 pretty much right away. I was like, oh my gosh, here we go, man. You know, Minnetonka, I thought they'd pretty much have an easy time with Centennial, you know. No disrespect to Centennial, but I just thought Minnetonka, just like I consider Minnetonka up against most teams, just to be too much for other teams to handle. I just thought that's what it would be a case of here. But, man, Centennial came out, man, boom, like they were shot out of a cannon. Scored 1 right away, and then scored another not long after. But then Matamidai was able to, not Matamidai, Minnetonka was able to get a goal of their own and then turn the tides in a big way. Then I think they scored 4 or 5 unanswered. And you could just see Minnetonka really found their game, found their rhythm, and just started to play to their capabilities. You know, I think at first they might have been a little caught off guard by how hard Centennial came out. You know, it might have taken Minnetonka a little bit of time to get into their groove and, you know, really get the cylinders firing. But ultimately, once they found it, you know, that click they were looking for, they were off to the races and they didn't look back. You know, they were full steam ahead, did not look in the rearview mirror whatsoever, and ultimately beat Centennial 6-3. Yeah, what a fun day 3 was, you guys. Oh my gosh. And today is going to be even better. You know, you have Orono versus Alexandria, 2 teams that I didn't expect to be in the 1A final game, battling each other. That one's going to be, man, anybody's game. Anybody's game. That one could go either way. And then Duluth East and Minnetonka, you guys, we have the best of the best going toe-to-toe. And I predicted these 2 teams would meet in Class 2A or excuse me, Class AA. I predicted these two teams would meet, and for good reason, because they are the best two teams in the state of Minnesota. And tonight, it's really going to go, gosh, I don't know how it's going to go, but yeah, I don't know. I still like Duluth East's chances. Of course, there's a little favoritism on my part towards Duluth East, just because I've seen them a couple times this year, and they just won me over, man. Just their style, just their 150 miles an hour, all game, every shift style just won me over, you know. So I think they're going to find a way to get it done, but it's going to be another one, just like Duluth East and Edina, where it was really anybody's game. You know, it's going to come down to, you know, the little things, you know, positioning, the tactical things, the little things that, you know, people don't place enough emphasis on, you know, like proper positioning, just clean passes, accurate shots, just not blowing any opportunities. Little things like that are going to make the biggest difference in this game. And, you know, the biggest winner of all is going to be us fans, that we get to see this game. Such a treat, you guys. Such a treat. Enjoy it.